it's Chrissy here from the Creative Eclectic. Happy Tuesday Night Lights! I am back. Hope everyone's having a fabulous day. I know I'm having a fabulous day. It's been very busy though. First day back after our road trip. So let me see if I can find where everybody is and see who's watching. All right. Let's just hope that everyone can see me. All right. I'll just quickly share our Facebook Live with our groups. Hello, Glenda. How are you? I hope you're well. Oh, my paper's a little bit crooked. Maybe it's my camera that's crooked. Hang on one second. Oops, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Oh. I was so close to you, Glenda, but just not close enough. We ran out of time to pop into your neck of the woods. Thank you. I'm happy to be back. All right. Hi, Barney. How are you? Okay. So let's get started. Today I am talking about, well, thank you. I'm talking about a question that was asked by Leah while I was away, of what do I start with? Do I start with colours? Do I start with stamp sets? Or do I start with paper? And today I'm not starting with any of those things. I'm starting with blends. So I guess you could say I am starting with colours or a technique. So Leah, I don't know that helps you. So I wanted to show you some beginner blends info, because I've had a lot of questions about this, and so I thought we'd get back to basics and yeah, just start with the basics of blends. So the stamps that I'm using today is the Enduring Beauty, and I've already stamped and die cut that just to make it a bit quicker for you. All right, so we're going to start with some basics. When stamping blends first were introduced, I did a blog post, and I think I did a video as well, and my advice is when you start with blends, you start with 3 colours of any 3. So my 3 colours that I first started with were Cherry Cobbler, and I really hope that this hasn't dried up. I haven't used that one for a while. Daffodil Delight and Old Olive. So I say you start with 3 colours and then you pick a neutral. So at the time that they came out, which was a long time ago, I was actually in New Zealand at the time. Marnie, I love blends because I like colouring. I'm a colouring in girl from way back. Okay. So at the time that blends first came out, I started with these colours: Daffodil Delight, Cherry Cobbler, Old Olive and Crumb Cake, and then my colour lifter. So I've got 3 colours and a neutral and my colour lifter in case I make a mistake. All right. So now always start with 3. You can add to that. So the reason I started with those 3 colours there, and there wasn't a real red at the time, they hi Glenda S. I am back safely. I'm glad to be home, and yeah, I didn't drink much coffee while we were away, but I'm making up for it today. Yes, blends do dry out. Usually they might dry out because the barrel might be cracked, or so like there was a batch of Mossy Meadow, and every Mossy Meadow blends that I got had a crack in the barrel, so they dried out almost immediately. You can bring them back to life, but there is a non-Stampin' Up product, a blending solution that you could use, but I don't really recommend it because it does impact the vibrance of the colour. So the reason that I chose my neutral colour, like at the time you could choose the ivory and there's a bronze, but the reason I chose Crumb Cake was for twigs and stuff, and also because you can change the colour of the other colours, and I do have a smoky slate as my other one, but I don't actually have both of them up here, so we're just going to start. So I thought I could use those colours for Christmas, I could use them for flowers, I could use them for all sorts of things. And I think if you use them regularly, and you've got to make sure that the cap's on properly and all of that sort of thing. So I've just picked a bunch up of those colours. I've got more than one set, so I don't know if I picked the right sets up. So, and you can replace the tips as well, but there's a lot of there's a lot of messing around, and that's okay. So let's talk about the really basics of colouring. And I've picked up 2 dark cherry cobblers, so I'm going to have to make a dash already to get the other cherry cobbler and the so everyone has a light and a dark. I have to get another cherry cobbler and the other smoky slate. So bear with me one moment. Like, this is the sort of day that I've had. I have been working since 8 o'clock this morning, and yeah. So yeah, not a good start on the back. Won't be 1 second. Okay, sorry about that, people. Oh, goodness me. So, we've got a light cherry copper. There we go. I also bought up some real reds and some sweet sorbets and poppy parades just in case. Okay. Marnie, Delphi has had so many hugs. I think she actually doesn't want to be here. Okay, let's get started. So, what I normally start with is working out my shading. So Stampin' Up make it really easy for you with your shading. Whew. Let's just check this is the right one. Oh, yep. So I've got my light one. We're actually going to use our dark one first. Now, I'm just going to use so you've got your two ends. I'm just going to use the bullet tip end, and just on where I think I might need some green, where I think the leaves might be darker, I'm just going to use my dark. Now this is a really basic colouring. This isn't, we're going to do heaps of depths of colour, but I will show you two tricks with these blends. Now, because I think that people get a bit frightened because they're expensive markers. People get a bit frightened about how to use them. All right, so I'm going to help you get over that fear. All right, so if I wanted all my leaves the same colour, I could just go all over them all in the old olive. All right, but I want to have some variations of colour. So remember I said I picked 3 colours, so I had and 2 neutrals. So one of the colours that I love, and you can do this with any light colour, but is the light Daffodil Delight. And so what I can do with that is some of these leaves that are towards the front, I'm just going to colour them in completely. Lay down a layer of Daffodil Delight. And I'm doing the ones that are just towards the front, that are sort of the top leaves. Okay. And you might wonder why I'm doing this. Because I don't want my leaves to be all the one colour, by adding a yellow base. Whew, this one's a bit smelly. Sometimes the stamping blends are quite smelly. By adding a yellow base, I'm going to change the tone. All right. So let's just do one leaf where I don't have a yellow base. So I've just coloured a few, haven't coloured all of them. Oh, I missed that one with the dark. Now, stamping blends have got 2 different tips. And they've got a bullet tip and a brush tip. When I first started, I only ever used the brush tip. But now I use the bullet tip more. So I'm just going to, in a circular motion, just colour that leaf. This is one that doesn't have, and this is a light old olive. And it doesn't have any yellow undertones to it. Now, if I want to make it a little bit different, I'm going to use my brush tip for this one. And because I'm pretty hard, see how icky my brush tip is? Because I'm pretty heavy-handed. So I'm actually not going to use that. Because you can replace the tips, but you've got to find the right tip. And in my Stamping Blends club, we'll talk about what tips we can replace, how we can replace the tips. So you'll see, I've done those two. So you've got one that's, well, I hope you can see this. One that's way lighter. The one that's got more of a yellow tone. I don't know if you can see that very well with the light here. So this one's a bit darker. That's got more of a yellow tone. So if I want to make that yellow tone even more vibrant, I'm just going to put a bit more yellow on, use the brush tip on this one. So you can do it with a light or yellow, Daffodil Delight. And this one over here, I'm going to use the dark Daffodil Delight. Well, that's a better tip. That must be a new one. Just lay down that colour. Now you sort of want to give it a little bit of time to dry between layers. Okay, and I do little sections at a time. I'm going to do that one in the dark as well. Little sections at a time, and I don't get too caught up on being perfect. See how awful that tip is? Because I need to replace that. Because I'm very heavy-handed. And I can't help it. I am better. Like when I first started, you could hear the scratching. All right. So now, I'll just go over this one here. I don't want that to be too light. I want it to be, and you just go working your way through. So I normally start at the top and work my way down to the bottom. And this is really what I call rough blends. This isn't making it a coloured masterpiece, all right? This is really rough colouring. Okay. So, how's everybody's week been, actually? Like, oops. My phone was supposed to be on charge and it wasn't, and I'm like, oh. So I'm hoping, I've got it plugged in while I'm filming this, so I am hoping that it does last the whole, let's call it episode, the whole live. Okay. Now, if you had a different, so if you didn't have yellow and you wanted to use a different colour, you could use one of your neutral colours. So I would say under a green, you'd probably use a crumb cake or a pecan pie. or even the ivory or the bronze. Okay, so we're just pushing the ink out to the edges. You don't want to go over the edges. Like, you don't even need to go close to the edge, really. You can just push it close to the edge. You don't go over it. Because if you oversaturate it, and sometimes when you're colouring, like as I said, I do sections at a time and I work from my top to the bottom, but sometimes it'll bleed, and the reason it bleeds is because you've oversaturated it. So if you have coloured all the bits, so you've put down a layer of colour, like the yellow, daffodil, you can go and have a cup of coffee or go and make yourself a drink or something like that, and you can just bring them back, let the paper dry out a bit. And some people don't have, like, they don't overcolour, like they will just, I'm probably an overcolourer, so I know that I need to just let them dry a little bit between layers. Other people, they would just go over it really quickly, like, and it takes them 2 seconds. Okay, the thing about blends is that you don't have to be precise. They do the work for you. Okay, so I've got the basics of my leaves done. So, and as I said, I usually start with the doing those dark bits on the veins. And then I have a look at it and go, what else does it need? Does it need some more shadows? So I might grab my dark one and just add a bit more dark where it's underneath the other leaf or underneath the flower. Because I always think about where will the light hit it? Where will the light hit the leaf? That's what I think about. Okay. And so where will the shadows fall? Now I just added a bit more colour, now the dark colour, and then I'm just going to grab my blends, my light blend again, and just go over it in a circular motion just to blend it in. Or you can just do little fine strokes. If you're going to do fine strokes, use your brush tip, because my brush tips are a bit cactus. Okay, so we've got some leaves. So I don't know if you can see them properly. So this, I will show you. So there's very slight variation. So this one's sort of a yellowy green. Quite a dark yellowy green. And then you've got some, that's a lighter yellowy green, and that's a more green. So yellowy olive, dark yellow olive, and then olive. I don't know if you can see that properly. Hi Lynn, thanks for watching. All right, so we've got our three, as I said, we've got 3 different colours, and We're going to do 3 different colour flowers so I can show you. There's all going to be cherry cobbler, but they're going to, 2 of them are going to have an undertone to them. Okay, so I'm going to try my smoky slate. Hopefully this is the right one, yeah. And I'm just going to, with my smoky slate, lay down a foundation. Now this one is just about dried out. Okay, I've got one on order, so I'll just see the other end, see if I can get enough out of it. So now there is a particular weight that the new ones are, and that means that they're an optimal weight. The other one here, this one over here, I'm going to put down a crumb cake base on it, and I'm just using a light crumb cake. And again, this is not a new marker, so let's see if I've got a new one. I've got about 3 of them. Let's see if this one's a bit better. Okay. Oh, that's better. Much, much better. I'm just going to put, and I want to show you the difference between those when you put a foundation down to when you don't. And I will do a little one with that as well. And we'll put some dark crumb cake on that one too. Just in this little piece here, just on the lines. So those lines show you where the shadows will be. Okay. Hi Fiona, how are you? All right, and we'll just, with this one over here, we'll put a layer of dark smoky slate down first. Because I just want to show you the difference in the colour. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to let that dry for a second. So does anyone have any questions about blends? So we've talked about when you're starting out, you pick 3 colours. So if you're doing flowers, you might pick a red, a red, a yellow and a green. And then you can use them for whatever. And then you pick a neutral, 1 to 2 neutrals. So my neutrals are usually smoky slate and crumb cake or pecan pie. Depends what you intend to be colouring, but I know most people use blends on flowers. All right, so now we'll start with these flowers in the centre. So I've got my dark cherry cobbler. I hope this one's okay, yeah. And I'm just going to, wherever there are crease lines, I'm going to put some cherry cobbler, and wherever there is an overlapping flower. Okay, So the reason I'm doing it like this is because, well, Stampin' Up! Basically tells you where your dark bits are going to be. Okay. Now, just do that, the one next to it as well. And it doesn't matter if the colour dries, okay? Really doesn't matter. Because the alcohol on the next pen that you're going to use is going to reinvigorate it. So I've done blending where I have basically done a layer and then walked away and left it for 3 or 4 days. Not ideal, but it does allow me to come back to it. Okay. All right. Some flowers are a bit more tricky to do than others. These are, so the first, when you're doing blends, start with, if it's your first foray into it, start with big images. All right. It's much easier to blend something that's big than it is something that's small. Okay. Okay. And I think you're probably thinking, what on earth are you doing, Chrissy? You're just making a bit of a mess. All right. Oops. Okay. Let's go back to this flower here where I've put the crumb cake down as a foundation. Now I want to start adding some red. Okay, some cherry cobbler. Okay, so I'm doing my dark bits first. And then I'll do this one. And then I'm going to turn it around and do, so I keep turning my paper. It's much easier to turn your paper than it is to try and turn your wrist. So we know when we do flowers that the bit near the stem on the outside is probably the darkest bit, okay? And then the bit on the inside, depending on the flower, might be the lightest or it might be the darkest. We're making it dark because that's just how I feel today, making it what I feel like doing. Okay. All right, so it looks a bit of a mess, doesn't it? But it is starting to come together. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee. Okay. Now I've got my light cherry cobbler. And we're going to start with this, this one here. And see, my tip of, because I was so rough with it, or maybe someone in my class was rough with it, I don't know. I'm just going to use the bullet end because I think that will be much better. Now, when you're using your cherry cobbler, you really do notice the difference between the different colours. Like when you put down a crumb cake base as opposed to a smoky slate. Now, when you're layering these, it doesn't, you can see that crumb cake just disappears, right? It doesn't show up at all. It's just absorbed into the darker red. Okay, so what this does is it gives you a lot more options with your colours. So you might only have one red, but you can make it look at least 3 different shades, maybe 4 if you put a yellow down underneath it, you know. So, and I will make a card with this. I've cut it all out. So that's our crumb cake base there. Let's have a look at our smoky slate base. And you can see straight up, that's a much deeper red. Okay. I'm just hoping my phone's not going flat while or hasn't gone flat and you're still with me. Yeah, not many people tell people that, Marnie. They don't tell people that you can put another foundation down. So, like, if you were doing dragons, say you had a set that had dragons on it, and you only had daffodil and old olive, you can make or even mossy meadow, you can make the dragon like a yellowy green. Okay, and it does make a big difference to how it looks. And see, I quite like the deeper grey red. It's just a completely different colour. And people get, it doesn't affect, people get frightened. They think, oh, it's going to affect how your blends work if you put mixed colours. It doesn't affect them at all. All right, this is what they're designed to do. They're designed to blend. So you can see that's like a very deep colour compared to that one. Hi, Zana. Oh, Zana. You're from the UK, aren't you? I'm sure that's you. That's my UK watcher. I hope so. Yeah, so we're just talking about different ways of colouring. And so we've got 2 flowers which we've put a neutral colour underneath. Oh, this one's starting to run out. Now you can start to hear me going, oh, it's starting to run out. I need to colour a bit harder. You know what? It's okay. If it runs out, and which it's pretty close to doing, we're just going to go with plan C, which is we're going to grab a real red. See, oh, I need to get a new one of these. See, this blend would have probably been used in every Christmas class for the past 2 years. So it would have been used a lot. All right, let's just... so this one's going to be a bit wonky, this particular colour. Now, the other thing that's important when you're using blends is use the right paper. Do not use watercolour paper. You can colour on, use your blends on any of the Stampin' Up papers, like core colour papers. So it works really well on vanilla. It works well if you've got some of that old shimmery white left. It works well on that. It works well, so it blends well. You can use it on vellum, but it doesn't blend quite so well. Well, it doesn't blend at all on vellum. Okay. Lucky I grabbed those other colours. So, now, some people would say to you, oh, you can put some re-inker in there. Don't do that. Just don't do it. Because what it does, if you put standard re-inker in there, it is a different type of ink. And you're not going to get some nice blending. Okay, so I'm blending this one, like going over this a lot because it's like the blend is so dry. But you can see the difference between that colour that's got the smoky slate foundation and that colour that has got a no foundation at all. And there is a slight difference between that colour and that colour as well. It's a bit hard to see in the life. Some of my blends have had a very good life, honey. All right, let's grab a real red. Yeah. Oh no, that's a... Oh, this one's a cherry cobbler that's got the wrong sticker on it. Oh, we might be lucky. So when you get your blends, put the right stickers on them. And I know that every so often when I've been annoying someone else in my household, they change the stickers on my pens. So I know that this blend was supposed to be cherry cobbler and originally had a cherry cobbler sticker. Oh, the other thing I do with my blends is I put some Velcro on them so you can keep the two of them together. All right. So let's try this light one here. Let's see if this one's any better. Oh, look at that. Now, ignore this is a cherry cobbler. That is so much better. Just so much easier. So Zayna, what is the weather like in the UK? And Glenda, is it still raining up in Yeppoon? It was raining when we left Rockhampton yesterday morning. Well, before we left Rockhampton. And it was raining coming into Rockhampton. And we were on Roo watch because we were coming in quite late. So all of my regular mailing list customers should have their new annual catalogues in the post by now. if you have placed an order with me in the last year or have attended a class with me in the last year and you don't have your catalogue, please let me know. And I will give you one. And anyone who places an order with me and a new customer will get a free catalogue, an ideas book. And the new catalogue goes live tomorrow. I don't know that I'm ready for it to go live tomorrow. I've got so many things to do. Yeah. So my retreat friends, I have been frantically cutting up projects for you today and organising all the last minute retreat stuff. It's only 3 weeks away. How close is that? Oh, I am, well, 3 and a bit weeks. I just cannot believe it's so close. And I looked at my to-do list and went, oh, we were crazy to go to the wedding in Port Douglas last week and drive up. But we didn't have any choice because we couldn't fly. It was way too expensive. But yeah, it was, so I'll be getting Steve to help me with the cutting over the next couple of weeks. He's such a good man. So we had such a lovely trip. I went and saw one of my team in Mariba, and that was really fun. We haven't seen each other for years and years and years, so that was really lovely. And I got to spend time with my accountability buddy on the way up in Rockhampton, and Gate crashed her crafty get-together, so that was fun too. All right, so we're nearly done this. So colouring, it can be very, very therapeutic, right? Okay, and I think that you've just got to not be afraid with blends to try something. And if it doesn't work, you know, it's only paper, right? You can stamp another image and you can try again. Okay. I just love the colouring. Okay, so there's my coloured bit. Now, we're going to make this into a card, hey? Oh, we do need some me time, Fiona. Yes, we do, but we need to time it better. All right, so now I've got my smoky slate. And what I want to do is sometimes when you're colouring, you go outside the lines. I've actually done pretty well today. But if you go outside the lines, actually, let's just go outside one of the lines. What's this one? I'm just gonna go over the edge of the line here. Okay, just deliberately. Don't freak out. We can fix it. Okay, so if you go over the edge of the line, like I've done now, there's 2 things you can do. You can, so I'm using Cherry Cobbler, Daffodil Delight, Smoky Slate, Old Olive, and Crumb Cake. Fiona. Hi, Janine. Delphi says hello to you, Janine. She misses you. All right, so we've got this thing called a colour lifter. Now I'm hoping this is my newest one, and we can just push the colour back, right? And it just lifts, you push it back towards, and it sort of lifts the colour off, right? But if that's too much hassle, and if you've done a lot, just grab your light smoky slate and just go, particularly if it's die cut, just go all the way around the white on the outside of your die cut. Okay. So what this does is it gives you a shadow. Now, I learnt this tip from the famous Jennifer Maguire, and I figure if she can do it and she's got 500,000 YouTube followers, then it's good enough for me to be able to do it too. And you don't have to be super exact, just go around the outside. And so what the light smoky slate does is it absorbs any of the other colour that is around the edge of your and I'm just bringing it down a little bit in there. You don't have to. And so then you don't have that really stark white edge against other colours also. But if you had, so if you were using a pool party background or a soft sea foam background, you could use those colours. There. So we've got, and I just think this is a great tip when you are colouring, is to make it less stark. It just softens it a little bit. All right. Oh, we're missing Megan tonight. That's unusual. Yes. So, I don't know if I told you before we went away, my great niece had a really serious car accident, and she it was very, very bad, and she, thankfully, it was a head-on smash and she was in hospital, and we rushed into surgery on the Friday before Steve and I went up to Port Douglas for the wedding, and we were actually contemplating not going to the wedding because we were so concerned about her, but she's doing really well now and she's home from hospital now. She's been back in once, but it's her birthday today and she turned 9. So Ava, if you are watching, happy birthday, happy 9th birthday, and we're looking forward to celebrating with you on the weekend. All right, so see how that's not really stark, and what you can do, even though there aren't leaves in there, you could put some old olive in those white bits, but I'm going to, because I have a white background, I am going to not worry about that. So I've got some cherry cobbler cardstock. This is just half a sheet of A4. And I've got some white for the inside. So I can't finish this. I can't show you the blends without making a card, can I? Now, I'm using the Enduring Beauty stamp set. Now, one of the other things that I didn't tell you is when I stamped this and die cut it, I stamped it in Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Now, do not use Stays On ink with your blends. Under no circumstances use Stays On ink with your blends. It will destroy your blends. Right, so now I've got a piece of basic black and I've got a piece cut out of the middle, but I'm not worried about that because it's going to get covered up. And I've got a piece of embossed white, and this has been embossed with the Brickworks Brickworks, I think that's what it, or some sort of brick. I don't know what it's called. This is where we need Megan to tell me what things are called. I think it's called, I don't know, something brick. Anyway, so I think that covers up our little hole of where we've cut a piece out. I've got a little bit of ribbon that I want to put on here as well. Now this is the black and white gingham ribbon. I don't know if this is being carried over into the new catalogue. I hope it is because I love it. Love, love, love. It's my favourite. So I'm just going to grab a couple of glue dots out of my drawer. Steve hasn't had the chance to mess up our study yet. Okay, so grab a couple of glue dots. Don't know where my Take My Pick tool is, so I did forget lots of things tonight. I forgot blends. Well, I've just picked up the wrong ones, you know. I've got some more glue dots. I'll move this up a bit so you can see better. So I'm just popping a piece of ribbon on here. Now, I'm pretty frugal with my ribbon, so that's why I don't wrap it around and then tie a bow. Right. Just got that bit there. We want to grab some glue. Now, if you wanted to, you could have put yellow on the centre of the flowers. I didn't think we needed to. Because they're sort of, I don't know what sort of flowers they're supposed to be, but they do remind me a bit of the poppies. Right. And if Megan was watching, she would be so excited because she reckons I'm using the right end of the glue. All right, so I'm going to pop that. So I've got some basic black layered on with our basic white. Grab my bone folder. Just going to run that across just to get any bubbles out. All right. Now, I think that the flower goes something like that. Right, so we need some dimensionals. And I've got my large dimensionals. I have some little ones, but I'm going to use the large ones. And I'm going to use lots of the large ones. Now, so for this project, I started with my colours, I started with my technique. And my technique was that I wanted to use Stampin' Blends. So then I chose my colours that I was going to use. Then I chose a stamp set to match those colours. Okay. So Leah, I hope that answers your question about what do I start with. It really depends. So this time I started with a technique. Other times I would start, it might be I start with the occasion that it's for. Okay. Now I don't have my 10-second bow maker handy, so I'm just going to do a little bow. So let's see if I can do it around my fingers. Go around. Let's do it the other way. So, got my 2 fingers, go around my fingers, up. And this might make it really difficult. No, I don't think I can do it this way. I'm so used to using my bow maker that I don't know how to do it that way. Let's try a different way. Let's just do 2 loops, like 2 equal loops, and loop it through. Okay, there we go. Now when you're adjusting your bow, you just hold on to that knot. Put some pressure on the knot so you can get them equal width. That's not too bad. I think they're almost equal. That one needs to be a little bit smaller. There we go. Oops. Okay. Just cut the... Oh, but ribbon scissors don't need a bit of a sharpen. Oh, that's dreadful. Cut them at an angle. Oh, goodness. I've got another pair of scissors that are any better. I need to find a scissor sharpening man, because a lot of my scissors are very old. Oh, that's not too bad. I'm just going to adjust those loops just a little bit more. Okay. Pop. Now, I've already stamped my sentiment. And I think I had initially thought I was going to put it over the flowers, but I'm going to pop it underneath, I think. And I've got a black layer because I thought that might look a bit fancy. Bunny ears and not. That's right. Zana. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't remember. It's Anna with a Z. Yeah, I've tried that cutting my scissors with sandpaper and foil. These ones are past that. Like some of them are 15 years old. Some of them are older. So I'm going to pop my little bow. And I'm actually going to pop it this way. And make it go underneath here. We're going to put it on with a glue dot, or a couple of glue dots actually. Just to make it stick down. And I think that one would look quite nice there. On an angle. Goodness, I usually do things straight, but tonight I'm doing it on an angle. Yeah. Yes. Oh, my husband's got a very extensive sandpaper collection because I find all these jobs for him to do. And at the moment he's making bow makers, so yeah, he's just made about 30 of them. So he's used all sorts of there we go. That doesn't look too bad. Hold on. Put that bow a bit closer to the edge. Yeah, so he's got lots of different grades of sandpaper. Friska's made a thingo for sharpening scissors. You get them from Spotlight or Patchwork shops. Thank you, Glenda. I shall try that. Oh, wish your sister a very happy birthday from Australia. Happy 50th. My 50th seems so long ago, but it was only 3 years, so it wasn't that bad. All right, we're just going to finish this off. I believe these adhesive back sparkle gems are retiring. I believe I can't be sure, but I thought we may as well use them while they're still current until midnight tonight. And I'm just going to put them in the centre of the 3 flowers. Okay. And then we're going to add some pretty silvery ones. Another couple of silvery ones. I don't want that one there, that's too big. So did everyone see the card I made for my friend's son's wedding that I did a reel on? I was so proud of that. It popped up, and I tell you, it took me forever though. So I had to buy a small town from Perth. You loved my wedding card? Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I need one more to make it an odd number. So we're going to pop that one over here. So there we go. This is our blends. So you can see they've got one with a grey undertone. That one's got a crumb cake. I probably overcoloured that one. But yeah, so it's not perfect blending, but it's just a really rough blend, and you can see how it just is quite easy and very therapeutic, and you can change the colours. So if you don't have Daffodil Delight, Melon Mambo, which is retired, or Lemon Lolly, or even So Saffron, which I think is retired as well. They will all work. Okay. So my advice when you're starting out is work out with your blends, work out what you're going to be colouring. Because blends were originally released about 6 weeks before Christmas, that's why I went with Old Olive, Daffodil Delight, and Cherry Cobbler, and the Crumb Cake, and then I added in that Smoky Slate. So that's our card for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm really glad to be back, and I am looking forward to next week. Now remember, you've got until midnight tonight to order from the Retiring Annual and Mini catalogues, and then tomorrow the new catalogue goes live and you can order whatever you want from that. The other thing that I need to tell you is that I'll be releasing some details about my VIP club, which has got lots of experiences, not necessarily craft related, but some ways to spoil people. And also some info coming out about the blends club, because I've had to rethink how we do that because they are a lot more expensive than what I originally had planned. So, and there'll be a paper share this month as well, in May as well. So all that information is coming out in the next few days. So until next time, happy creating. Don't forget mystery stamping on Saturday and coffee, cake and cards next Wednesday next week, which is my birthday. So we're going to have a celebration. So until next time, happy creating. Bye for now.